Sometimes building a project the illegal way can be more successful than doing it the legal way. This was the case with Charles Yerkes and the Chicago L. Chicago was hit by the Great Chicago Fire and left opportunity for a new transit system. Charles Yerkes turned the malfunctioning transportation system of Chicago into one of the most efficient urban elevated systems in America. Yerkes used bribery and even bought out railroad companies to create a monopoly and destroy any kind of competition. Yerkes encountered with Chicago to construct the L as efficiently as he could. Even though Charles Yerkes' methods were debatable, they sped up the construction of the L, permitting him to have full supervision over the L's development and providing Chicago with a very effective transportation system.
In Chicago, there was a high need for transportation. People had to walk from place to place, and the only means of transportation were omnibuses. They were uncomfortable and traveled slowly. In 1859, horse cars began to compete with them. Full-size horse cars averaged 6 miles per hour and needed 2 horses. Horses were expensive, troublesome, and led to disease. The first successful alternative to horsepower was the cable car. It ran twice as fast and cost only half as much to operate. So Charles Yerkes converted his major horse car lines to cable cars. Trolleys came after that, which were powered by electricity. All these transportation systems competed for space in the downtown region. This caused high levels of traffic in the city. Chicago's most innovative railroad at this time was the Columbian Intramural Railway, which carried Farragos at the World Columbian Exposition. The Columbian Intramural Railway was quite successful, carrying 6 million people during the 6 months the fair was open.
All the vehicles that were being used at that time period caused high levels of traffic, and an elevated system had to be created in order to lessen the traffic. Many people had to walk on barefoot since they couldn't afford transportation. The Great Chicago Fire of 1871 devastated large parts of the central transportation system. The bad condition caused while using the other transportation systems and the Great Chicago Fire caused the first elevated railroad to be created in 1892. Charles Yerkes took this opportunity to take Chicago's railroad and start investing in the Chicago L. Charles Yerkes was born in 1837. He was a Pennsylvanian businessman who had been in prison. He had been accused of embezzlement of $400,000 of the city's money and had moved to Chicago in 1881 to change his reputation.
Charles Yerkes came into the control of the L. The South Side L, the Lake Street L, and the Metropolitan West Side L were built. Charles Yerkes was able to build the rest of the Chicago L quickly by using controversial methods. He bribed government officials to get franchises faster. He bought competitors working on the L to create a monopoly, and when people refused to let the L be built in front of their houses, he paid massive amounts of money to buy their homes. The first thing Charles Yerkes built was the loop. This was a task only Charles Yerkes with his methods could accomplish. Since the loop could not be built on alleys like the other airlines, it was harder to get consent from people to build the L over their stores or houses. With slightly vile methods, he was able to obtain these permissions. He would buy people houses or offer massive amounts of money for the people to give him permission to build the L outside their homes or stores. The loop opened in pieces, with the first piece being finished in 1895 and the last in 1897. The loop made it easier for citizens of Chicago to travel anywhere. To complete the L, only the northwestern L was needed. Charles Yerkes only started on the construction and then left for London late in 1899. He left for London because it was a time when he kept arguing with everyone, and so the city wouldn't grant franchises anymore.
As a result of Charles Yerkes' illegal ways, Chicago had an economic boom in the railway industry. At this time, Chicago did not have a positive view of Yerkes. Yerkes caused corruption in Chicago to rise to a whole different level. After finishing the L, Yerkes was accused of handing over $1 million bribes to secure the passage of his franchise. When Yerkes left for New York, the Chicago L was $5 million in debt. This caused Chicago transit systems to constantly be in bankruptcy. In spite of this, Yerkes caused transportation in Chicago to be more innovative and less expensive. Yerkes laid down over 250 miles of track and played a major role in constructing the loop. Transportation also became more efficient and fast, causing people to get to their destinations quickly. People could get in any part of the city in only 15 minutes. With the other transportation systems, however, it would take much more time.
Charles Yerkes' innovative railway changed Chicago's transportation today. The rise of the automobile lessened the use of the Chicago L. Although the system was revolutionary in Yerkes' time, it was obvious that privately owned transit systems would not survive in the 21st century. This led to the creation of the CTA, which is the Chicago transit system today. Publicly owned transit system caused poor public relations, going back to the construction of the L, and street railway systems, which made transit unsatisfactory in Chicago. On October 1st, 1947, the Chicago Transit Authority took over the L and all streetcar operations in Chicago. This wasn't easy though. The whole transit system had to be completely resurrected and modernized. This led to the creation of the transit system we know and love today.
In spite of Yerkes' corrupt and rotten ways, his influence on making the Chicago L was huge. The L was built efficiently and quickly under him. Yerkes changed Chicago transportation and made it more effective and efficient. Without Yerkes, Chicago might have never had the elevated transit system we have today. This leads to the idea that sometimes corruption can lead to greater success than doing it the legal way. At least that's what some politicians in Chicago learned. Charles Yerkes was one of the first to show the power of corruption in Chicago and created a tradition.